Hey guys, what's up? It's Morgan and Angie with The Shift, and today we're talking about, is it hard to connect with someone who disagrees with you? And this is a topic that is super relevant right now because there's a lot of political stuff involved in everything that's happening between, the coronavirus stuff and the riots and everything that's going on. And it's kind of scary, and it's making us have to face this, like, wait a second, like, so and so doesn't think the way that I think, and we get scared, like we're having to figure out, how do we navigate our relationships when people don't agree with us? And it's a weird thing, and it's kind of hard. So Angie, do you have any initial thoughts?
Yeah, it's like if someone disagrees with us, we immediately go into like a fight or flight response because it triggers that part of us that wants to belong to a group. And so it does, it makes us want to comply. And, we talk about people pleasing all the time and why we people please, what's being driven there. And so, we fear rejection. We really want to belong to the group. And so that's our underlying desire. We really desire that. But yet, if someone disagrees with us, we immediately go to that fear response of, oh my gosh, like maybe they won't like me if I disagree with them. Can we really be friends? And we start getting into all this doubt and asking ourselves these questions. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love the way you explain it. I feel like you explained it so well because, like, ultimately, we all have that desire to belong and to feel like we are a part of something, and we don't like the disagreement. We don't like the contention, especially as people pleasers. We do not like contention or arguing or anything that resembles that. And I think, like, the fear is on both sides. It's like, we're like, when someone thinks differently than us, we're afraid to speak up and say our opinion because we're afraid we're going to be rejected.
Right.
We're afraid that they're not going to like us if our opinion is different. And then on the flip side, like, if we see them saying stuff that we don't agree with, that
Mm-hmm.
it kind of brings into question, like, our relationship. We're like, wait, should I have a relationship with this person if they think blank way? It kind of goes both ways. And when we look at this, like, and it's hard and it's real, like those things we're feeling and thinking, like, it's real. And what we have to try to understand about how to navigate this situation is that, people think the way that they do based off their values and their experiences, and
Mm-hmm.
that, like, their values and experiences aren't wrong.
Right.
It's who they are, it's where they've come from. And just because they're thinking and feeling a certain way, it also doesn't make you wrong. It doesn't make your experiences or viewpoint wrong. And so, like, having that understanding can really help us better, like, feel like more safe to connect with people who don't agree with us, and more
Yes.
safe to share our opinion.
Speaking of like our friendship, I mean, we have a complex relationship because not only are we friends, but we've coached each other and we also have this business together. And so that makes our relationship very complicated. And so just like this morning before we got on this call, Morgan and I have to touch base and we figure out how do we feel about these different situations because we talked about things. We talked about feminism and we talked about masculine energy and all of this stuff and what's been happening with the media, with George Floyd, is that his name? I think the
Yeah.
guy that was killed. And just where do we stand on all these issues, because we want to present a solidified front, or a solid front, right? That we don't want to disagree. But the truth is that Morgan and I don't agree on everything. And that makes it touchy because we want to still be connected. We still want to know that, hey, we can have different viewpoints and walk away here and still feel warm and fuzzy inside about each other, and not start creating in our mind, that ego mind that is so creative, all the judgments that would create separatism with the two of us. So I mean, I threw that out there. I didn't know I was going to throw that out there, but
Yeah, no, I'm glad that you did. And the cool thing about the conversation we had this morning too was that it was like it was a discussion, you know what I mean? And there
Mhm.
was a lot of talking and there was a lot of listening on both ends. And it was really cool because even when we didn't agree, like we still heard each other out. Like I felt very heard at the end, even though I'm like it wasn't and that's the thing is I think we often treat like in society and in media, social media and stuff, we treat it like a conversation has to be like I have to win, right? And
Mhm.
that's where things go horribly wrong because then we're not having a discussion, we're not listening, and it just creates a lot of contention. And so I think that I think we got to feel safe in saying, you know what, it's okay if at the end of this we don't agree because we still love each other. And maybe you don't feel that way about your social media friends or whatever, but me and Angie, you know, we still love each other. And I felt like just before we started recording, I went and told Jared, like, yeah, we got into like a political discussion, but it was actually really fun. Like,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was cool. Like,
Uh-huh.
and we made each other, it made me feel really supported and stuff. And the thing is, society doesn't value that. It doesn't value like having these open discussions because
Mhm.
what people go to is shaming the other side. Whatever side you're on, the other side wants to shame you. And it's just not right. It doesn't help. It doesn't help build connection. And it doesn't foster any better perspectives. You know,
Yeah.
so I that's anyway, that's my soapbox about it.
It stunts our growth. And we're going to talk more on this next week about
Yes.
the communication. One thought that came to me as I was listening to you speak was, okay, who am I talking with? I'm talking to Morgan. This is somebody that I trust. I had to remind myself. I
Yeah.
trust Morgan, and I know she's got a good mind and she thinks smart. You know, she thinks really well. And so I had to remind myself of that and know that you were a safe space. And so that told me then, okay, so stay open. I had to tell myself, stay open, stay open. She comes from a different background, different experiences, and therefore you don't have the market on right, Angie. I mean, that's what I was telling myself. Stay open. She's trustworthy. This is a good source. And so often I think what we do immediately is if someone disagrees with us, we think this something's wrong with this person, you know, or they're just something's just not quite right with this person and they're misinformed, and you know we go into those judgments and then we cannot connect, you know.
Yeah, thank you, Angie. That's so perfect because I think that's what we got to remember like and I think it's our initial impulse is to shut down or like you said to say oh something's wrong oh da 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 like
Yeah.
gotta shut this down but just remind yourself like I'm safe to listen, I'm
Mhm.
safe to like have compassion like because if nothing else if you totally disagree with someone you can at least have compassion of where they're coming from if you can be open to just listening, you know. And
Right.
that's ultimately what all of us as human beings want and deserve is we just deserve to feel heard and understood even if no one agrees with us like
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
that's what we want to foster in our relationships is letting other people feel heard and understood and also feeling like we can be heard and understood. So I think that's super awesome. So
Thank you.
yeah, oh go ahead.
What's our tip?
Yeah,
um
I think our tip for today is like I mean ultimately you're never going to find someone ever. You will never, ever find someone who agrees with you on everything. It
right.
will never happen. And just let that sink in for a second and understand what that means because what that means is you can let go of trying to control your relationships based on what people believe or what their political opinions are because then you're going to say okay I'm never going to find someone who agrees with me entirely so it's okay it's safe for me to have relationships with people who don't agree with me.
Yes, which is like diversity, right? And it's what we need right now.
Absolutely, absolutely. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. We are sending you all so much love during this crazy time. I know this is a time of struggle for so many people, and my heart totally goes out to all of you, both of our hearts. Uh, and yeah, thank you guys for watching. Please comment down below your thoughts about, you know, how you handle talking with and having relationships with people who do think differently than you, because it is hard, but it gets better when you can have a better perspective. Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll be talking more kind of on this topic next week. So we'll see you guys.
Bye.